Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about one of the most fascinating technologies of this time, that is generative AI. So what exactly is generative AI and why it is such a big deal right now? Let's break it down in this video. Generative AI or GenAI is equal to an AI that creates. The proper definition of generative AI is it is a type of an artificial intelligence that can create new content such as text, images, videos, music and more just from user's prompt, and it can also use what it knows to solve new problems. It can learn languages, arts, physics, chemistry, biology or any complex topics. For example, I am typing something like a dog wearing a sunglasses and riding a bicycle. So this prompt can generate unique images in seconds. That is generative AI at work. Generative AI creations. The creative power of generative AI is large. For example, Gen AI can generate text such as articles, emails, poems, stories, codes, and so on. It can generate images like artwork, photos, or logos. It can also generate audios such as songs, voice, music, and many more. Gen AI can also generate videos such as short clips, animations, and many more. We can easily write new code in Python or JavaScript or for different websites. Gen AI is able to create 3D models as used by different game environments and architectures and so on. Therefore, these are the creations of generative AI, and it is growing day by day in various forms. So now let's see how Gen AI is different from regular AI. The traditional AI is built to recognize patterns and make decisions. It is great at analyzing. The example is like recommendation systems. However, the generative AIs, it goes a step further. That means it uses its earlier knowledge to create something new. Example is like writing an original poem that never existed before. Now let's understand how Gen AI works. In fact, generative AI relies on neural networks, deep learning algorithms and machine learning models which trains on large language models, LLMs. Now let's understand each process. Building the blocks. For this we have data and the models. The data is the huge collection of text, images, books, articles, music and so on. Whereas the models are the complex mathematical structures like deep neural networks, and these models learn pattern in huge database. Pre-training. Gen AI starts by training on the massive amount of data such as articles, books, images, websites and many more. It learns statistical patterns and structure from this huge set of data. For example, while training on text, it can learn how words and sentences are arranged together. Similarly, while training on images, it can learn the shape, size, color and so on. Neural networks. Gen AI used the neural network model inspired by the human brain. Neural network consists of neurons, which is layers of interconnected nodes, and each neuron processes various inputs and give the output for the next steps. Every connection has something called weights. This is to make better prediction and generate output. Fine-tuning. After general training, models can be fine-tuned for a specific task. For instance, a language model fine-tuned to summarize any text or write poetry. Similarly, image generator fine-tuned to create animation-style images. Generating content. The first step is prompt engineering. Then Gen AI model is trained to generate new content. For example, when we give a prompt like today it will rain, then AI uses what it has learned to predict what comes next, like today it will rain heavily. Different models use different techniques. There are two popular models in generative AI that are transformers and generative adversarial networks, that is GANs. GPT model use transformers and attention mechanisms to predict the next word of a sentence, whereas GANs use two models. One is to create and the other is to analyze, thus creating realistic images. Use cases of generative AI. Let's see what are the real-world use cases of generative AI. Healthcare. Gen AI can be used in healthcare for medical image analysis, medical research, disease diagnosis, and so on. Education. It can be used for personal tutor, for automation in exam, material preparation, and so on. Marketing. It can be used for social media, ad, product design, and so on. Customer service. Different chatbots can help to answer the questions from customers. Therefore, GenAI is used in many fields. Challenges of generative AI. Generative AI is still in progress. There are so many challenges. Bias in outputs. AI models can produce biased results. Ethical concerns. There are so many ethical concerns around AI uses. Accuracy issues. There are accuracy issues also as GenAI can hallucinate. Copyright and ownership problems. So there are problems like who owns AI generated content, the user or the company. There is still a legal gray area in many countries, so copyright and ownership problems should be solved. Lack of reasoning. AI is all like pattern prediction, so it doesn't understand context and can lack realistic reasoning. Now let's understand the difference between generative AI and agentic AI. Generative AI, GenAI, is a type of artificial intelligence focused on generating new contents like text, images, or even videos. GenAI utilizes huge amounts of training data to understand the patterns or the structures and then generate outputs based on what they have learned. For example, ChatGPT creating a new contents. Agentic AI is a form of an artificial intelligence that uses deep learning to solve issues autonomously and make decisions based on its objectives. It operates independently of continuous human guidance and responds to changes in order to achieve specific goals. For example, self-driving cars can make real-time decisions to navigate road and reach the destinations. The difference between generative AI and agentic AI in terms of objective is generative AI is designed to produce novel content based on training data and user prompts. It is great at completing tasks such as generating images, code, text, or even composing music. Whereas the objective of an agentic AI is to focus on decision making and complete complex tasks. It has to interact with tools, environments, or other systems to achieve predefined goals without human intervention. For example, if we ask ChatGPT to write a blog, then it writes. That is generative. But if we ask an agentic AI to publish that blog, it could do everything such as log into the blog, do some changes, and then hit publish, all without any input from us. Technology used. Generative AI relies on generative adversarial networks, GANs, and transformer models, example GPT or the bot, to produce new content, whereas agentic AI relies on reinforcement learning, decision trees, robotic frameworks, and sensors to perform tasks. Output. Generative AI produces typically creative content such as text, articles, images, music, designs, code, and other forms of data, whereas agentic AI gives output like decisions or an actions on problem solving to meet particular goal. Autonomy. Generative AI is reactive. It responds to our prompts but does not plan ahead or make decisions without our guidance. Whereas agentic AI is proactive. It can set sub-goals, make decisions, and adapt if something changes in its environment. A generative model can summarize articles for us, whereas agentic model could read 4 articles, analyzes them, summarize the differences, and send that report to our email. Applications. The applications of generative AI can be in the field of content creation, research, documentation, creative industries, medical research, coding, translation, marketing, product design, customer support, and so on. Whereas the application of an agentic AI can be in industry automation, project management, robotics, autonomous vehicles, cybersecurity, healthcare assistance, financial trading, investigation, and so on. Examples. The example of generative AI is ChatGPT, Gemini, DALL-E, Runway ML, and so on. Whereas the example of an agentic AI is Alexa or Google Assistant or Tesla, and so on. User interaction. Generative AI requires user input, prompt engineering to generate useful and fresh content, whereas agentic AI acts upon one. They do not require continuous user interaction. It can interact with outside environment and gather information to achieve goal in real time, as in self-driving cars. Impact. The impact of generative AI is it is great for content creation, information accessing, and it supports information technology field. Whereas the impact of an agentic AI is it is great for automation and it increases productivity by minimizing human intervention. Limitations. The limitations of generative AI can be there must have good quality of training data and it should produce correct and unbiased outputs, whereas the limitations of an agentic AI is it can be difficult to implement complex data while training. Similarly, it requires proper ethics and security to make proper decisions. We have learned GenAI is great to brainstorm or create, while agentic AI is built to act, execute, and get results often without needing any help in every steps. And combining both the creativity of GenAI and the autonomy of agentic AI is where the real magic starts to happen. Now, let's understand a brief history of generative AI. As we know that generative AI is based on machine learning and deep learning algorithms, so let's go back and discuss the timeline. It all starts in the 1950s, the foundation of AI or the early days of an artificial intelligence. In 1950, Alan Turing publishes the paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. This paper introduces Turing tests that analyze the machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior like a human. So this concept became philosophical base for an artificial intelligence. In 1957, Frank Rosenblatt, a psychologist from Cornell University, developed perceptron, the world's first neural network that can be trained. In the 1960s, the world's first chatbots has started. In 1964, Joseph Weizenbaum at MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory created ELIZA, the first chatbot. It was a computer program that can have conversation with a human by using a natural language and generate text responses. It was an example of generative AI. In 1980s, different research in natural language processing, artificial intelligence, and machine translation has happened. In 1982, recurrent neural network (RNN) was developed by John Hopfield. This RNN can learn and remember patterns. 1990s, AI in machine learning and problem solving. In 1997, the idea of long short-term memory (LSTM), an advanced form of recurrent neural network (RNN), was proposed. This neural network allows efficient processing of long sequences of data which are important for generative tasks such as speech recognition. 2000 is the era of revolution in deep learning. In 2004, Google's autocomplete was released which predicts next potential words as users enter their search words. This was based on a mathematical model known as Markov chain. In 2006, Geoffrey Hinton introduced deep belief networks, that is DBNs, based on deep learning and unsupervised pre-training. 2010s is the era of virtual assistants and chatbots. In 2011, Siri with iPhone 4S by Apple was introduced. The first virtual or NLP assistant was functional. This used predefined command to take questions and answer them. In 2013, a generative model called Variational Autoencoders (VAEs) was created. In 2014, the first generative adversarial networks (GANs) was appeared. It is a class of machine learning that can generate new data according to training data set. GANs are used to create images, audios, and videos that look like authentic. GANs are breakthrough in GenAI as they produce high-quality images and videos. In 2015, diffusion model was introduced. This process incorporates noise to the original training dataset and use reverse denoising process to restore the data. In 2017, transformer architecture was proposed by a team of Google led by Ashish Vaswani. This model used a self-attention mechanism and also weighed the importance of various input sequences when processing. Transformers became the foundation for models like BERT and GPT. In 2018, OpenAI introduced a large language model called GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformers. In 2019, OpenAI releases the complete version of GPT-2, which was trained on more dataset. 2020s GPTs and multimodal models. In 2020, OpenAI introduced GPT-3, capable of generating human-like text, coding, and responding FAQs. In 2021, OpenAI launched DALL-E for generating images from textual descriptions. In 2022, open source Stable Diffusion and Midjourney AI was released, that is high-quality image generating text-to-image tool. Similarly, in 2022, ChatGPT releases GPT 3.5, a conversational AI interface accessible to the public. This tool can access data from the web up to 2021. In 2023, OpenAI releases GPT-4, capable of generating longer text up to 25,000 words and with better reasoning. Google also introduced AI chatbot named Bard. In 2024, various multimodal agents LLMs such as Gemini 1.5, Sora, Cloudy 3 were released. In this manner, generative AI has come a long way, from basic rule-based machines in the 60s to an advanced creative AIs in the 2020s. It has become a powerful tool transforming how we work, create, and think a task. And this is just the beginning. Why is it a game changer? Generative AI is a game changer because before generative AI, making any content would have taken long hours and many skills. But now, even if you are not a designer or a developer, you can create amazing stuffs in no time. It is helping programmers to write code faster, designers to come with lots of design ideas, faster results in business, and so many other advantages like never before. So in short, generative AI is creative. It is helping people around the world turn ideas into reality and more faster, cheaper, and easier. Thank you for watching. If you are excited to learn more about generative AI, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.